Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are a brand new subscriber or a brand new viewer. My name is Kyle. Today we're going to be talking about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. This movie was directed by the Daniels and stars Michelle Yeoh as an aging Chinese immigrant who was having a bit of financial problems. And on one fateful day while trying to sort those problems out, she ends up getting whisked into an incredible adventure in which she discovers the existence of parallel dimensions. This is a movie I've been excited about for quite some time. I saw the trailer quite a few months ago at a screening, and I thought it was definitely the most different and exciting trailer I had seen. It really captured my attention, and I found out it was directed by the Daniels, who had made Swiss Army Man, a movie that I wasn't absolutely crazy about, but the way they directed certain sequences was really fresh and invigorating. When it comes to performances, especially stunt performances, Michelle Yeoh is one of the greatest of all time. Yes, Madame, Super Cop, Tomorrow Never Dies, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and most recently Shang-Chi are just a few examples of how incredible she is. And thirdly, this movie was produced by the studio A24. They are giving the limelight to young independent filmmakers, and I myself am a young independent filmmaker. So trying to break into the industry is of course very difficult, and this production company has given the green light to so many projects that would never see the light of day if it was by a big budgeted studio. And magically, all of these things came together to make a great movie. I thought this was awesome. The supporting cast is great, and the biggest surprise was the actor who played Michelle Yeoh's husband in the film, Quan, who is actually Short Round from Temple of Doom. That was a major surprise. He was great. You also have the always lovely and talented Jamie Lee Curtis, who is not playing a very lovely character in the film. In fact, it's quite the opposite, but I don't want to get into too much detail with her. Then there's Stephanie Zhu, I hope that's how you pronounce her last name, as Michelle Yeoh's daughter, Joy. She was also excellent in the film, and I don't think I've seen her from any projects recently. Now, I don't want to get too much in detail with the film's story because that will lead to several spoilers that you do not need to know. And I feel like this is one of those movies that is going to get a lot of word of mouth. People are going to see it, and they're going to be talking about, this movie was crazy, like you got to see it. I saw this in a completely packed auditorium. It actually didn't come out until this past weekend for me, but I saw it in a completely packed theater, and people were loving it. Now, the term bonkers has been used hundreds, maybe even thousands of times to describe movies, and for me, whenever I hear that word, I just really don't believe it. I usually see movies that people deem that word towards, and I think, well, I mean, it was interesting, but I wouldn't say it was bonkers. I think there's only 5 movies that I can think of that earn the definition of that word. This movie is number 6. This film is absolutely nuts. It is balls to the wall crazy, and I once again am thanking A24 for producing this, giving this the green light, because if this were at a big studio, you would never have seen the things that are in this film. The action sequences are all directed extremely well. I usually have a thing against high frame rate, and that's typically because you're trying to hide what's going on in terms of either poor stunt work, the second unit just doesn't know what they're doing, the lead actor is terrible, or something along those lines. But whenever you use high frame rate and it's used to elevate the action sequences and to not try to confuse the audience, I usually am in favor of it, and this movie did it so well. And on top of that, this movie is also very funny. I think the trailer had some moments of comedy, but definitely watching the movie, there are some gags and imagery that I don't think is going to please everyone. There will be some people who will think that some of the humor is a bit tasteless, but for me, I was laughing consistently, as was the audience that I saw it with. The only movie I can say that I was reminded of while watching it was The Matrix, but I think that's because there is this character who is just a regular person who is all of a sudden just introduced into this big, huge new world, and they have to learn about the rules of the world in order to survive, and they find out that they are special. It definitely has those themes from The Matrix, but The Matrix has those themes from a lot of other movies and other elements of literature and pop culture. So these things are definitely not necessarily brand new, but the way the film presented it, and especially with its commentary, it definitely felt original. Now let's talk about that commentary for a second because this is definitely a big point of conjecture. I usually am not huge with commentary of movies today because they end up trying to hit you over the head with it to the point where I keep saying, okay, we get it. Can you please just tell the story? I think the movie balances the commentary better than any movie I've seen in recent memory. It doesn't feel like it's overshadowing the familial story that it's trying to tell. The movie is populated with characters that you really care about and you can really get behind and understand the position that they're in and the stakes of what happens if they can't get out of the situation. The only sort of gripe I have is that I wished it was 10 minutes shorter. I think definitely towards the climax, it goes just a little bit too long, but there is a lot of meaning and significance behind why the climax has to be as long as it is. I just think that there could have been a little bit of extra trimming, but that's really it as far as I'm concerned. This movie consistently entertained me. It presented a very interesting story populated with characters that you cared about. It had terrific action sequences. It was funny. I was laughing hard quite a few times. I love science fiction. It's my favorite genre. I think this movie is really going to succeed from word of mouth. I do believe it still exists, and I definitely think that seeing it in a packed theater with people who were laughing the whole time and just really enjoying the experience, I think this is going to be one of those movies that's going to be a sleeper hit. If you saw Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, what did you think about it? I'd love to hear your comments, so please put them in the comment section below. If you're skeptical about seeing the film, I give it my highest recommendation. Please go see it. It is worth your time, and you will definitely get your money's worth. That is for sure. In the meantime, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. All the links to my social media pages can be found in the description box below, as well as my new business website, kjgpictures.com. That is also in the description box below. Thank you all so much, as always, for watching, and stay tuned.